Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Juan Solo here with ASQD Gaming, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for another Ghost Recon Wildlands video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Fallen Ghost in-game map that we're going to be actually playing on once the Fallen Ghost DLC comes out on May 30th. So basically what I did here is I went through all of the images that Ubisoft released on the Ubisoft website, the Ubi blog, and actually several other websites that are covering the Fallen Ghost DLC and all the screenshots. And then I went through and I found them all in the actual in-game and found all the in-game locations and then kind of laid out a map. So this is actually one of the first images that got released by Ubisoft. It was on the official Ubisoft website. I believe it was also on the Fallen Ghost post that was in the Ubi blog. And this one was actually a little bit tougher to find because there's so many bridges in the game. But here it is. This is actually in-game Ghost Recon Wildlands. I actually was able to locate the bridge, and it is actually in the very northeastern corner of the open world map. So it's way up here in the northeast corner. And this isn't really thick, dense jungle like I figured they were kind of talking about when they kind of originally told us how that the Fallen Ghost DLC was gonna work. So the next screenshot you guys are going to be seeing here has actually been all over the internet for the last month or so. This was one of the first images that got leaked for the Fallen Ghost DLC, because you can see the guy with the crossbow there, and then you can see the mercenaries that we're going to be going up against. And originally when I saw this image first, I thought I knew where this was, and actually here it is in game, guys. So this is actually in the Caymans, I believe, the Caymans region, and this is like a wrecked ship that kind of like beached itself up on this like sandbar or whatever. And this place is actually in the jungle, I guess you could say the jungle lowland swamp area. And actually over there, that right hand side, you can see the little yellow arrow that's over there. You actually have to destroy one of the drug running submarines, which is, this is like one of the missions that's in this area. And I will pop this up on the map here real quick and show you guys where it's at. And it's it's quite a ways down from the bridge. So honestly, I'm really curious is if we're gonna be able to play in this entire open area. That's going to be a massive map. That's going to be almost a quarter of the actual overall in-game map, which we know that the Narco Road DLC wasn't that big. It was 3 regions, which I believe they said it was going to be 3 or 4 regions in the Fallen Ghost DLC. I think it was 3 regions and 4 bosses and stuff like that, but it's going to be a massive region. So next up we have this image here, guys. This is also one of the images that got released for the Fallen Ghost DLC, and you can kind of see their logo over on that the shipping container over there to the right, and you're kind of engaging them. And as you guys look in the background there's a big wall. So this is actually the exact location that was in that screenshot right there, and this is very close to the last screenshot was over by the boat. And what this place is, it's actually an enclosed area it's surrounded by walls, and then at each end there's all these cages. And what this is like a manhunt area. So what they do, what the Unidad and whoever, the cartel and stuff, they capture prisoners and then they let them loose in this enclosure, and then they battle it out to the death. And there's actually stands and stuff up here on top of the hill that people can actually spectate, which is really crazy. Next image we have here, this is another one of the release. This was actually on the official Ubi blog for the Fallen Ghost DLC. And this one was actually really hard to find, because if you look up in the top right hand corner, you can see like some power lines off in the distance, and obviously you're in a body of water. And then it took me a while to find it, but here it is, guys. And this is actually right off of like the coast of the giant lake that's in the middle of the Ghost Recon Wildlands map. And this is actually really far to the west. As you guys can see here, that's the location in basically the Agua Verde region. And this is a ways to the west of where we started up in the northeast corner, and then also down in the Caymans region where we had a couple of those other screenshots. So this is a very widespread, it's a massive map. And this, if we get to actually play this entire area in the DLC, it's still going to feel like an open world. Obviously, so did the Narco Road, but it is what it is. We're not actually limited to a very small region. So this is also another screenshot that was released. I don't think this was actually on the Ubisoft website. This was on a couple other websites that all said it was tying in with the Fallen Ghost DLC. And it's actually not too far from the last screenshot that we looked at, and this is where it's at in the actual game. And that giant thing there that's in the background there, it's actually the La Torre de Arroyo Bahia. I think that's what it's called, something along those lines. And it's just that giant thing that it goes up like over 300 meters or something like that. I remember seeing that in the game. It's kind of like a big landmark in the region, and this is kind of where that's located, and it's kind of in that central area of the northeast down to the Midwest there that we actually covered in the last screenshot. So like I said before, this is a pretty massive area that we're actually going to be able to play in, and I'm actually kind of excited because the jungle region I don't play in that often. And this is the last screenshot, guys. I know there was a few others, but I actually wasn't able to find those in the game. But this is kind of like a boat that's docked off of like this little coast here, and you can see the big watchtower in the background. And this is also part of the big lake system that's in the middle of the map in Agua Verde. And here you go. There's the in-game shot of this exact location. This one wasn't too bad to find because, you know, you just had to look for kind of a watchtower that was surrounded by water. So that one was actually a little bit easier to find, you know, once I figured out that this map was going to go that far to the west. And here's the location on the map here so you guys can find that. And actually this was so much fun actually tracking down all these, you know, looking at the in-game screenshot and then actually trying to find it in the actual open world game of Ghost Recon Wildlands. So make sure to leave a like on it, guys. This actually was very tedious and it did take a while. So this is kind of an overall view of the actual in-game map, and we're going to be playing in most of this area. And there's actually a couple other images. I'm going to pop one up on screen right here. This is the one that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. And I've actually used this one in a couple other videos, and it shows the military guys of the, you know, the mercenaries that we're going to be going up against. And the base that's in the background looks like a base that is in the desert. So, you know, with all the browns and the way the watchtowers are built, normally in the jungle region, the watchtowers are built just out of like wood. It's just like stick-built wood, and those are actual block, you know, watchtowers, which normally isn't in the jungle regions. Those are normally in, you know, your desert regions, or your like the northern part of the map, more towards the west, you know, the west desert salt flat side of the map. So I'm really curious to see exactly how massive this map is really going to be, because that's the one that really sent me for a loop. There's so many bases out in the desert that kind of have those attributes and stuff and look like that, and I wasn't actually able to find the exact one. I wasn't going to spend all day looking for it. So overall, we get to play the entire northern, you know, the northeastern corner of the map, so a quarter of the map. And then, like I said, with that desert picture right there at the very end, that might mean we actually will get to play even a larger section of the map. So this DLC playable area is actually going to be much, much larger than I originally thought it would be. So that is pretty much all for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys are actually going to maybe go out and try to find these locations for yourself, honestly, it was a blast. It did take a while. It was very tedious, so a like would be much appreciated, guys. And if you guys are new around here, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on everything there is Ghost Recon Wildlands. I am going to be covering the Fallen Ghost DLC and try to do a couple other videos talking about some other Fallen Ghost topics leading up to it that comes out on May 30th. Thank you all so much for tuning in, guys. The support you guys have been giving me over the last, you know, 3 or 4 months with this game has been absolutely awesome, and I cannot thank you guys enough. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.